Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to another episode of my F1 2020 My Team Career Mode, episode number 4 today for the Chinese Grand Prix. If you guys did miss the previous one at Vietnam, the first time we went to Hanoi, then check that one out, uploaded yesterday. But here we are then, and we've got a lot of time actually on the calendar in-game until the Chinese GP, so we've got some activities to fill out. We're going to go for a 3-day activity of a sponsor HQ. That will boost the team acclaim. Then we've got an invitational event. Then we've got 5 days left over after that invitational event. So we're going to go for the bottom left, the funded team event. That will boost the morale of every department. Will cost us a little bit of money, but it will boost the morale and gain us a little bit of R&D points for the car, which is always a bonus, but it's good to keep the morale of the team high, I feel. And we've already obviously boosted the acclaim a little bit with the sponsor event we're doing. And then we've got 1 day left, so the only one we've got left to do is the top right drive promotion, but really nice, filling out all 8 days we've got available there with things to do, boosting the driver acclaim with the last one there, the team acclaim with the sponsor, and then also the morale, a little bit of R&D. So decent, efficient work before the Chinese Grand Prix, using the activities and the time used completely out there. So that's going to be positive. You can see at the top there, we've got $2 million, just over $2 million, and we had that at the end of last episode. So we can now potentially purchase another upgrade on the HQ. Now, in terms of what department we're going to do, I was initially thinking we might do aero because, you know, we've done chassis. We've obviously got a good engine department because we initially started off with that. But I'm going to put my money where my mouth was. And I said at the beginning of this game that I feel marketing in the long term is going to be very important, because the better marketing department you have, the better, you know, funds you're going to get, the better sponsors you're going to get, the more kind of, you know, the more you're going to get back out of your sponsor activities and all the things you do in between Grand Prix. And that's all going to feed into, obviously, getting more money for you, essentially, and just making a better team. And so I'm going to, like I said, put my money where my mouth is and spend $2 million, quite early doors, and some of you might disagree, but I truly believe the marketing department is this important. We're going to go ahead and spend $2 million on the activities management, and I would say definitely by 2/3 way through the season, I do want to save up and spend $5 cool million on that other part of the marketing department, because, like I said, I honestly just think it's really that important. I know you need to improve the car, but we can slowly do that right now, and you can see we've already made quite good strides with 3 upgrades last episode, and so I really do think you shouldn't really, you know, neglect that part of the HQ, as you shouldn't with the personnel as well at some point. But we're going to start off with, you know, kind of focusing on the marketing department. But as we go on through the calendar then, the time till the Chinese Grand Prix, we're met with this invitational event. Now, I wasn't going to do this, but then I quickly read we could earn $150k and 1,000 on the acclaim by just doing this invitational event. So in the past, I will admit, these invitational events have been a big novelty and pretty useless, basically, in the career mode, you know, ever since they came in on F1 2017 to F1 2019. But on this year's game, I'm going to actually say it, they're actually quite useful, because what, you're going to spend 8-10 minutes driving around in probably a classic car. Like you can see here, we're at Zandvoort with this invitational event. So the first time we're doing Zandvoort on the full game in the 2010 Red Bull, I believe, and we've just got to do this kind of nice time attack where you've got to get through to every gate before the time runs out, and every gate we get through adds a little bit of time to that timer in the middle of your screen. We've got to try and get a distance of 7.8 kilometers there on the top right. So doing a decent job. Obviously very different to the car I just drove yesterday at the Vietnam Grand Prix, so I was a little bit slidey, a little bit iffy under braking in terms of getting used to that, but nonetheless quite a nice fun little break here. But the more important thing is I don't really care about the fun little break. I care about the money and the acclaim we're going to get. So on this year's game, doing these invitational events is actually so much more useful, because you actually going to get concrete a bit of money and acclaim. And as I've been banging on about that for so long, that is so important throughout this entire career mode series. So we're doing a decent job here. We've done 1 whole lap. We've covered 4.4, so we've still got a little bit more to go. So pretty much just under 2 laps of Zandvoort will get us this time. So, you know, Zandvoort, I don't know, it's like a 1:30 lap time. So literally you're spending, you know, 3 minutes, 4 minutes of your time to doing this, and you're getting $150k and 1,000 on the team acclaim. Now, you're probably going to have to spend, you know, the entire, you know, portion of qualifying or half the race just to earn that amount of money, basically. basically. So it is very much worth doing, and it's really not that much. And it actually is quite fun. You know, it was, like I said, quite a nice breather to do this little challenge. So you can see here we've crossed, or we are going to cross the time-driven, or distance-driven, rather, the target-driven, as we come through the last corner. So we've done the challenge now. Now I'm just kind of waiting for the timer to run out, but we are just going to get the next checkpoint just about as we go towards turn 1. You can see as the timer goes literally to the last 3 seconds, and we get the last checkpoint there. But by the time we get to the next one, we will definitely run out. But the challenge has already been done, so that is all decent. So coming through, just kind of just let off the throttle here, and just hope the timer runs out, and there we go. So the challenge is done, the invitational event is completed, and it's as simple as that. And so now we've got 150k dollars, which I guess makes up for the fact we spent that on the driver perk. Remember, we actually bought a driver perk on our contract to aid our R&D boost. That was, I think, I don't know, it wasn't 150k exactly, but it was not too far off. So definitely when they come up, do the invitational events, and hopefully most of them will give you a decent amount of cash and a claim. Obviously, look at if they do. If they don't, then just don't bother. I would say just simulate through. But as we come through, then we got notified of upgrades coming through in the car. I believe that was our one chassis upgrade, but what I also noticed was this flashing little upgrade on the reliability, and then I noticed it also on the engine side. You can see the chassis upgrade still pending. So what came through were these upgrades, and I think some of these upgrades actually came in last episode as well, but we didn't notice. But look at the shiny ones, the small ones there. We've got 4 engine updates, and then we've got 1 reliability update there, and that is actually upgrades that have come through from Honda themselves. So we've noted before this game came out that on this year's game with the R&D, you can also receive upgrades from your manufacturing, your engine manufacturer's factory. So, you know, if you are a customer of Mercedes, when the Mercedes Works team upgrades their engine and do certain upgrades, you will receive some of those upgrades in terms of the ones they're doing to every power unit, essentially. So Honda have done some upgrades. Well, they've done 4, for example. They've done 4 raw engine upgrades, and then they've done 1 engine reliability upgrade. So we've received all those upgrades. So we've just got a load of free Honda R&D upgrades for nothing, like I said. So that is absolutely awesome, and it's great timing for the Chinese Grand Prix, because obviously China, Shanghai, as you can see right there, they've got that long back straight, so that will come in handy, and that must have helped us out of Vietnam, because I believe 2 of those 4 engine upgrades, those kind of smaller flashing ones, came in last episode, looking back at the footage, and then 2 more have come in for this episode, plus a reliability upgrade on the engine. So that's awesome. So thank you very much, Honda. Hopefully we can use that to good effect, and maybe this is going to be a 4th time lucky. That's not really a saying, but 4th time lucky maybe. Could we finally get points in this season? We've come so close at Bahrain and even Vietnam, to be fair. So could this be the one, you know, 3rd time of trying, basically, because Australia we had no chance. So really it is the 3rd time of trying of getting points. We'll have to see. Qualifying, though, didn't go too smoothly, so we'll have to see about that, because the first flying lap was not too great. We're down in P21. The second flyer was a bit better. We gained about 2/10 through that right-hander, the slingshot onto the back straight, cutting on down towards the hairpin, though. Under braking, we gain a load of time there, about maybe 3 more tenths, and so across the line, 6/10 gain, and so we're up into P16. Schumacher, though, is up in P14 right now, so he's doing a stunning job. But I think, is this maybe a sign of the upgrades working? I wasn't too sure, but what I did know is we didn't really have too many tyres left. We only had 1 set of soft tyres left, and Schumacher was P14, so I thought, let's go out on a set of used soft tyres and just see if we can maybe get through, because if Schumacher's getting through, maybe we could get through, and then we could have 1 fresh set of soft tyres for Q2. Alas, that completely backfired, and I shot myself in the foot, and I didn't even make it out of Q1. Neither did Schumacher, but we're way down in P20 then, and Schumacher P17, although you can see we're only 2/10 off Schumacher, so all in all, it wasn't a horrendous showing in qualifying, but obviously I definitely think we could have been at least P17, or even 16 or 15, to be honest, with the time we would would have gained on a fresh set of soft tyres. And historically, in the last 3 episodes, we've gained a lot of time on that last flying run. So it's not the best start to the race weekend after just chiming on about, free Honda upgrades and that being a big boost for the team. But let's make the most of it in the race. Of course, our race car has been a lot faster than our qualifying car for not only me, but Schumacher as well, which has been very positive. So let's go towards the grid. It's going to be overcast. Hopefully the rain will stay away. And third time lucky, could we get points? Let's see.
It's time to find out which driver is up to the task of claiming the Chinese Grand Prix. We're here in Shanghai. We start a lap here at Shanghai with the long, difficult right-handers of turns 1 and 2, the first of 16 corners that make up this 3.3-mile circuit. The incredibly long back straight provides the best passing opportunity of the lap, with speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour before the braking zone of turn 14. Joining us today to oversee all the thrills and spills, it's Anthony Davidson. And great to see you. How are you feeling about the race today, and how are the circuit conditions from what you've seen?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there, if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So with a cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Vettel, Max Verstappen, and Albon, Ricciardo, Sainz, Perez, and Esteban Ocon, Stroll, Kvyat, Pierre Gasly, and Giovinazzi, Grosjean, Schumacher, Kimi Raikkonen, and the owner driver, Russell, Norris. They've taken a grid penalty. Latifi and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
So in contrast to the last 2 episodes where we've been very eager to do the 2-stop, this time round, not the case, because at China, the 1-stop really is the way to go. It's been like that for the last 3 F1 games especially, where if you can do the medium to hard tyre, especially if you're not qualified in the top 10, medium to hard is so powerful because the tyre wear is so harsh on that soft compounder tyre, especially if you've qualified in the top 10. The top 10 guys will have a real struggle. Maybe not the top 3 teams, but the kind of other teams that have made it into the top 10, kind of McLaren, Racing Point maybe, the Renaults, they're going to struggle on those softs at the start, and they're going to be forced into a 2-stop, or very, very, long 1-stop where they have to go a long distance on hard tyres. So we can make the most of it by actually doing a 1-stop starting on medium. So in contrast, we're not going to go aggressive, we're going to go conservative, and hopefully track position will be the thing that pays out for us, and hopefully those Honda upgrades can help us out on the back straight and keep us ahead of those faster cars at the very end of the race, and we could end up with some points. Let's find out. Let's go towards 5 red lights then to the Chinese Grand Prix. Round number 4 of this season is underway as the lights are out, and it's a very good start, actually electric start there for both myself and Schumacher as we both gain positions. We've overtaken 2 cars off the start, maybe 3 down the inside of Mick and potentially Gasly and Giovinazzi as there's some space opening up. We go down the inside, very opportunistic there on the inside of the Italian and the Frenchman. A little bit of contact made with Giovinazzi on the inside. We're still side by side there as the Italian pushes through, as well as Gasly there using some overtake mode, trying to close up. Giovinazzi versus Gasly. They're going to be caught napping. We dive down the inside once again to try and get them to the inside, but we're still side by side here. We're pretty much being 3 wide for the entire first sector. It's 3 wide in the next left-hander, swooping round the outside though, and it's a fantastic overtake there for us. Another 2 places gained, so 5 places in total there. Schumacher, to be fair, has kind of followed us through. He was unable to get Giovinazzi and Gasly, but Schumacher did stay put just behind them. So once again, myself and Schumacher have actually been really good at race starts, and we've been gaining loads of positions off the 5 red lights. So positive stuff there. So we're up into P13 then, behind Lance Stroll, Kvyat ahead of him. Remember, I feel like we should be fighting AlphaTauri. On the R&D shot, on paper, our car is only just behind Alfa Romeo and AlphaTauri. We're pretty much level pegging. So I think, in theory, we should be able to close up to Kvyat. And at the moment, the good thing is Kvyat is slowing down Stroll. And obviously, Stroll is not as strong as Perez's AI. So Stroll's AI is finding it tough to get past Kvyat. So we have a good opportunity to maybe make 2 overtakes sooner rather than later. I say sooner because if we don't make them, I think we'll start to get tyre wear and then have some issues. So we need to try and get this done as quickly as we can and try and get it done before maybe Stroll makes a move on Kvyat and then breaks away. So we're within DRS now as we move on through this Grand Prix. Lap number 3 then, Verstappen going well at the moment. So I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but maybe that's his Honda upgrades working well. So maybe this is going to be a very successful Grand Prix for all the Honda-powered cars if he's looking very quick out there with the fast lap of the Grand Prix. Meanwhile, back to our fight, we're looking to maybe try and just feed this through round the outside. Delicate stuff here to the inside, and it's oh so close, but look at this supreme racing and respect between myself and Lance Stroll. Overtake mode on the exit as soon as we dare. We're side by side on the outside now for the right-hander. It's going to be a great overtake. A little bit of a lock up there, but we get the job done. Get on the overtake button as quickly as we can on the exit. A little bit of a squirm on the rear end as we do it, but we've made it work, and that was a really satisfying overtake. The way we were able to just kind of, you know, feed it around the outside. And then, to be fair to him, the respect he gave when we were side by side there, not to pinch us straight off the circuit on the inside, was really great from Stroll. So some really great battling, as we've seen so far already so many times in this career with the improved AI. But obviously, they've also been improved in terms of how aggressive they've been. So I was a little bit worried at that, but thankfully not. We've made the pass, and now we can get on the back of Danica Fiat as well, maybe, because we have a nice slingshot exit here. Honda Power v Honda Power, of course, down this back straight, but we've had a beautiful exit. We timed the ERS usage to good work there with overtake mode. Now we've stopped using it momentarily, open DRS, use it again for a split second just to give us a little bit more of a push down the back straight. Now we're side by side. We're going to be just able to squeeze him out as we open up the steering wheel through mid-apex, and we're up into P11 then. So good work, and that's actually one thing I wanted to kind of note with the overtake mode. I've noticed the AI do this, and so I've started to try and do it myself, is they seem to blip the overtake button quite a fair bit down the long straight. So on the main straight, they'll use it initially at the start of the straight, then stop using, and then they'll use it again at the end of the straight just to give a bit more of an oomph. And that's actually worked out quite well as a nice tactic to not only overtake the AI or try and close up to them, but also counteract them attacking you somewhat there. So maybe a little bit of a tip to maybe try and use for some of you guys in your own career modes. But as we were talking about that, we moved through onto lap number 6 then, 3 laps later, and you can see we're up in P6 because, like I said, a load of people were on the soft tyres. The soft tyres don't go a long way at round Shanghai. And now we're on lap number 7, and we're going to be up into P4 now. So the only people ahead of me are the front runners that qualified on the medium tyres in Q2. So that's going to be Lewis Hamilton. You've got Leclerc in second place in the Ferrari. I think that's Verstappen in third place. So those three are going to be way out of touch of ourselves and everyone else, really. But in P4 then is, like I said, ourselves. Then we've got Kvyat behind us, just ahead of Lance Stroll. Gasly also in the mix. So both AlphaTauris and the Racing Point of Stroll on this kind of longer one-stop, as well as Giovinazzi. Then a little bit further back. And then behind him is Mick Schumacher, who's doing a decent job, actually. He's ahead of 2 Haas cars. And then Bottas, I think that is in the other Silver Arrow, who's obviously made an early pit stop because he's on a 2-stop along with Vettel and the likes of, I think that's one of the McLarens there. But Schumacher doing a decent job. You know, you've got to remember, Schumacher's AI rating is a lot lower than what, you know, Giovinazzi would be or Raikkonen would be, you know, if I was to do a team career mode. Like, if you compare it to last year when I did the Alfa Romeo career mode partnering Raikkonen, you know, Schumacher's AI is a lot lower rated than Raikkonen. So to say that, Schumacher's doing an okay job. You know, I think it's expected that you're going to thoroughly beat your very new F2 teammate at the start of my team career mode because he's so lower rated than, you know, other teammates you would have had in past F1 career modes. But having said that, he's done a great job. Like I said, he's moved forward every single race we've done. So kudos to that. And so hopefully he can try and do an okay job on that one stop with us. But anyway, whilst we're bigging up my teammate here, you would have seen Kvyat there was able to overtake us in a straight line. So a little bit of battling to do in this stint. So it's not going to be plain sailing there. But I actually didn't use much ERS off that final slingshot right-hander onto the main straight you may have seen because I was trying to conserve conserve some, but I think I conserved a little bit too much there because, you know, Kvyat was close behind. So that's the kind of annoying thing right now of this race is, at the moment, it's looking okay as we now re-overtake him round the outside. Nice little swoop on the left with DRS. Bit of a squeeze on the left-hand side. We've got the job done back ahead of the Russian, but even though we're ahead, you know, I'm not going to be able to rest too much and kind of take things calm because every single lap I need to make sure I'm using overtake mode at the right point of the lap. Mainly, I'm not gonna lie, it's mainly going to be that right-hander onto the back straight. That's definitely the place you want to use it, guys. If you're going to China in the next week in your career mode, use it there onto the back straight because that's where the AI seem to use it as well. They use it a little bit less than the player does, and so every lap I'm having to constantly make sure I use it at the right time. But now we've got yellow flags, and look at the minimap there and the bottom and the top left there. Kvyat, I think that's him out of the Grand Prix. Yellow flags as the car slows down there. And there we go, Dan Kvyat is out of this session, so what a shame for the Russian. Both AlphaTauris were pretty damn decent. Like I said, it was Kvyat, Stroll, now Gasly. Now it's just Stroll and Gasly behind me there, so Gasly's the only one flying the flag for our kind of bitter rivals, in a way you can say, because at the moment, obviously, AlphaTauri coming into this race are only 3 points ahead of us in the championship, and we did say we wanted to try and fight them and emulate them this season in the interviews at the start of this series, but now you can see behind me, Bottas has come through. We're going to let him through on purpose, you know, not fight that too much, because yes, he's on a 2-stop and we've got the track position, but he's in one of the top 3 cars, and we're not fighting them for sure in this Grand Prix, so there's no point really fighting them too hard. The same with Verstappen here. He's on a 1-stop with us, but he's already made his pit stop and he's come through to overtake us. So that's how quick Verstappen was in this Grand Prix. Like I said, you know, the Honda upgrade's working quite well for every single Honda powered team, it would seem. So we let him by on purpose there. It was a little bit awkward, I can't lie, through that left-hander, but we've been able to get the DRS off him so we can save some fuel, save some ERS, whilst we also gain on him and pull away a little bit from Stroll with the DRS. But we're going to come in on this lap anyway as well. So kind of all good timing at Bottas and Verstappen catching us just as we're meant to come in. And I think Stroll and Gasly will also follow us in and basically kind of cover us off here. But I think they're always going to make that pit stop on this lap. But you might have seen there quite awkwardly, I kind of double tapped my pit limiter as I didn't actually realise. I kind of forgot for a second that the pit lane limiter line for the Chinese Grand Prix was all the way at the end of the lane, not the very start there. But we rectified that anyway. So we come in, hopefully we don't lose too much time with doing that little mistake. In for our pit stop, one and only one of this very gloomy and depressing afternoon. Hopefully that is not a sign of the mood that will be at the end of this Grand Prix, because I think we're going to do quite well as we come out just ahead of the Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel. But as I said, I have high hopes with this race. Just have to see how it filters out basically and where we end up on the kind of last 10 laps here. But right now we've got a Scuderia Ferrari right behind us coming thick and quick. We're in P12 right now, but we may gain a few more positions because I believe the likes of Ocon, you can see in the top left, are yet to make a pit stop, or their second pit stop rather, as Vettel now tries to go around the outside. To my surprise though, he's unable to make the overtake. I was actually able to defend quite nicely, so I didn't really want to fight Vettel that much, but he didn't really put much of an effort there. So maybe the patch that we saw from episodes 1 to 2 finally showing out a little bit more with Ferrari unable to get us. But you can see the understeer kicking in as these hard tyres take so long to warm up. But Vettel down the inside and he hits us on the front left tyre. So Vettel's AI so impatient, and now we're under attack from Stroll though, so that's not really helped us out there. Has got flustered by Vettel's tap, so we have to defend against Stroll. But Vettel's AI, he was so impatient. It was such a stupid move for him to make there on the inside that now he's got front wing damage on the front right, so that Ferrari will probably have to make another pit stop. So inadvertently we may gain one more free position in this Grand Prix because Vettel has to pit for this damage. But I didn't mean to park my car awkwardly and for him to come and hit me. You know, I was just understeering, as I was about to say. The hard tyres, like we saw in Australia, they're just so bad, I found, in this game to heat up. Like, they take like 2 laps to feel any sort of kind of good way. And now you can see there, Vettel's in for the pit stop. So whilst I was understeering, his AI just decided, oh, I'll try and shoot it down the inside. Miscalculated it completely, and he smashed his front wing on my front left tyre. So no fault of my own, he's now pit early. So we've gained one more free position then in this Grand Prix, essentially. And we've gained a few more finally, because those people that were doing 2 stops, the two Renaults, the McLarens, they finally come in for their second pit stop. So now we've got 11 laps to go in this Grand Prix, and we're in P8 to be one more position because Ocon finally comes in. So I actually jumped the gun a little bit. Both Renaults had not pit quite yet. Ocon now has pit, and so we're up into P7 of the Chinese Grand Prix. Perez ahead of us on a one stop, so he's unobtainable. But everyone else behind us, well, the immediate cars are Stroll, Gasly, Giovinazzi, Schumacher. They're all on hard tyres doing the same one stop as me. And then behind them are all the two stoppers, the Renaults of Ricciardo, Ocon, Norris, Sainz, even Vettel as well, coming back through after that secondary pit stop he's made. So we are legit in P7, and now it's up to us to try and hold on as Stroll attacks us. Very much so on the left-hand side. We go defensive on the inside there. We got a load of understeer that was through the first two turns on the left-hander down the hill, and so that really allowed him to get a good jump there, but we've rectified that and we're able to kind of push him off here. We're now on lap 24. 4 laps to go in this Grand Prix, not including this one, and Stroll comes knocking once again, putting under the pressure right up our gearbox here, but for now, sailing through and maintaining the P7. But for how long can we do this? And the more we do this, the faster cars on that two-stop are coming through, and now you can see a bit of a wobble on the rear end, a little bit too wide and clipping the curb on the left. That was on lap 26, and so we've not got a great run. ERS used there, but we've not got too much to use, so we're now going nearly down towards single figures on the ERS. We are actually in single figures. We're in standard mixture. We use it for a blip second again because Stroll dives it down the inside, so we're having to really fight this racing point to try and maintain the P8 in this Grand Prix. It's not getting any sunnier in this GP, so the track's not warming up, and these hard tyres are not feeling too great. They're not feeling as bad as Australia, but they're definitely not as nice as I would like them to. I think the tyre wear's also kicking in a tad, but Stroll comes knocking once again on the outside there. We've got the better line though, to be fair, to squeeze him out, but now again that same understeer, just as soon as we come through the left-hander, I feel like the weight shift of the car just makes it very awkward. I just completely plainly understeer the off circuit there, kind of almost like what we had I think in the last few corners at Australia. And now once again it's deja vu. We're on the inside as we enter sector 2 trying to defend against Stroll. This time we scrub him off, so much so that behind us Gasly overtakes him. I didn't even push him that wide, but I think he made a bit of a mistaken wobble on the rear end on the exit, so Gasly has got that up into P8. So one of my oldest and obviously fan favourite, I guess, rivals from F1 game career modes is trying to attack me for P7, but if we can do this, we will score, remember, 6 points in one go to get our Shark, the main sponsor we've got on the car. The bonus goal is to earn 5 championship points in a season. We're going to do that in one race here, and it's been a fantastic race, and we're on the last lap, remember now, lap 28. Gasly's still attacking, so we've got work to do. He's right up our chuff as well as Stroll, but the thing is, you've got to remember, it may seem like a bit of a miracle as well, but it's just the strategy that's worked out for not only me, but to be fair, Gasly and Stroll, they've also done the same strategy, and they've worked out for themselves. And the cars behind them, Ocon, Ricciardo, Norris, all those quicker cars, quote-unquote, have not got past even Gasly or Stroll. So before they can even get to me, they couldn't get past these two. So I really feel like this has been a race that we've deserved to be here on merit. We haven't kind of lucked out into this. This is legit some good pace, good strategy for not only me, Gasly and Stroll though. And so we're going to come through. Lewis Hamilton has won the Chinese Grand Prix, but with these new Honda upgrades, it's powered us all the way up into P7 of the Chinese Grand Prix, and we'll score our first points ever of this season and the entire career mode series for our own Formula 1 team, Aarava Archer Racing, and we did it in P7, my lucky number P7. It was meant to be.
So Mercedes have won it, and what a great race it was. Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today. What set them apart from the rest?
Well, they certainly stood out as a drive with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
So it was Hamilton that won that Grand Prix, Leclerc in second. I believe it was then Verstappen in third and Albon in fourth. So there were some improvements, it would seem, from Red Bull as a team, and overriding, like I said, the Honda upgrades, helping myself and Gasly all to get the positions we got.
Great work out there today. Let's have your thoughts. You were cutting your way through the field during the race.
So in terms of this question, we've already complimented the chassis side last episode in an interview question. We've obviously complimented the engine side enough. So going to try and spread this out and compliment the aero side just to kind of give a nice balance to every department here.
It's safe to say you're smashing everyone's expectations, isn't it?
And once again, with these kind of questions, it's all about trying to complement the team. So I'm going to say it's a team sport. Couldn't have done them, kind of done it without the amount of effort that the boys have done back in the factory.
Great. Well, that's everything.
So there we go, a fantastic Chinese Grand Prix for us. P7, lucky number P7, had to be, meant to be, to get our first points of this season, and we got 6 in one go. So that means we'll get that kind of bonus goal from Shark. Well, that's already booked in. I think that bonus comes in at the end of the year, unfortunately, but we've already got the amount of points. But if you look here, I'm still not even that high up in the championship in terms of we're still behind Gasly, and I think that was Raikkonen or Giovinazzi, and we're still behind AlphaTauri because Gasly obviously scored points. So AlphaTauri have 7 points. I have 6, so we're still in P8 in the championship, actually. So this is what I mean. On paper, on the R&D chart, we are right there with AlphaTauri on pure pace. So we are legit meant to be here. So I don't think we've kind of lucked into it. Like I said, the strategy worked out for not only me, but Gasly and Stroll, because they all finished ahead of the 2 Renaults and the 2 McLaren. So as a trio, it would have been a foursome if Fiat didn't retire. So as a trio, though, we all kind of stuck together. I know they were trying to overtake me, but as a trio, we stuck together and basically all scored points and jumped everyone with that one stop. So quite nice in a way, but obviously there are rivals as well, so happy to be ahead of them. But at the end of the episode then, we unfortunately missed out by 3 whole laps on the bonus goal from Atlantic of finishing 75 racing laps. So if only we did like some extra laps in practice or qualifying, we may have got a little bit more extra cash, but we still got some decent amount of money, and so we're just over 1 million at the end of this episode then. So I would call that a very, very successful Chinese Grand Prix. Third time of asking, and we've done it. We've got some points for the season to kick things off, but obviously we're still behind AlphaTauri. We're still trying to look to overtaking the championship, and we've got a long season ahead of us and still loads of improvements to make in this very first season of our My Team Career Mode. So guys, if you did enjoy the episode though, be sure to smash that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're new around here, then do get subscribed for weekly full-on content. I've been aarava. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of the day. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.